good evening. I'm surprised to see you in a suit and tie. I hope you're going to be able to walk 5 kilometers.
Well, Kathy, I do a lot of walking and I play a lot of football, soccer. So today I'm just going to be working and not walking. But we have seen the Premier of Gauteng, Premier David Makhura, the executive mayor rather of Tshwane, Solim Simanga, who will be participating in the 5-kilometer walk from the Union Buildings to Kgoshi Mampuru Prison in the remembrance of former President Nelson Mandela. You remember that the former president died 5 years ago, and this has been a period where his legacy has been remembered, and this is the last stretch or the last event of the remembrance of the death or the passing of former President Nelson Mandela, former president of the country, former president of the ANC, man imprisoned for 27 years in prison, along with many other struggle stalwarts who may not be as glorified and spoken about as much as the former statesman.
And I'm seeing quite behind you that quite a number of people have turned up for these events. So what's on the take in terms of the activities people can get involved in? And of course, not people like you, Sam, who are not doing the 5-kilometer walk.
I know I'm one of those people who are definitely not doing the 5-kilometer walk, but I can show you the scores of people who have lined up here to indeed participate in this 5-kilometer walk with Premier David Makhura and Executive Mayor of Tshwane, Solim Simanga, in remembrance of former President Nelson Mandela. So there have been many activities I've seen. There's just this gentleman who's just passed by now. There's also a run that is being participated upon, and I'm sure our colleague Thulasizwe Simelani would be very thrilled about that, since he is a runner himself. And having run many races and competitions here within Gauteng, you'd remember that he was also part of the Comrades Marathon. He also takes part in the Soweto Marathon. I'm rather surprised that he hasn't posted any pictures and participating in the Nelson Mandela Fun Run as well. But there is the fun run and there is the fun walk as well, Kathy.
Sam, given the kind of involvement we have from officials in the executive, whether it's the Tshwane executives or the Gauteng executives, is there expected to be a formal part of these proceedings where perhaps they talk to those that are gathered about Mandela's legacy? And we know that, of course, politicians may also use the platform for any other opportunities.
Politicians, Kathy, will always be politicians. They will always utilize a platform for their own political agendas. In fact, I do understand that on the lawns on my right-hand side, just below the statue of former President Nelson Mandela, David Makhura and the Executive Mayor of Tshwane, Solim Simanga, will be addressing the people and those who are commemorating and celebrating the life of former President Nelson Mandela here. They will be addressing them if they haven't already, because I did see them about 5 minutes ago going down, wanting to go and speak to the mourners and those who are commemorating the life of the former president here. But indeed, we are in that silly season now of electioneering, and politicians will definitely not let any public platform go to waste without throwing in a little bit of spice of political agendas from their aspect for their political fortunes for the 2019 general election.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's not every day that you have the ANC and the DA sharing a platform, and perhaps that speaks to the moment of the day, which is really about commemorating former, the late statesman Nelson Mandela. Our reporter Samkele Maseko will be watching that particular event.